Thank you. Peg me, Dad. One man saying that is fine. If that's your opinion and you're not in it, that's fine. But there is an entire market of millions and millions of people that agree that it is a store of value. So, you can think one thing, but there's also a market, and markets tend to become efficient over time.
We do know that you will always get paid in Hex on a daily basis. And that is truly the miracle that we call Hex, because it is trustless interest, trustless yield. Nothing will stop that contract from running.
Do I have your attention now? Do I have it? Welcome in, everybody, to the Creed of Crypto. My name is Broke Boy Crypto. I have here with me, as always, my friend and co-host Crypto Ewok. Welcome in. We are back from a 1-week reprieve and back and feeling it better than ever. So much to get into tonight. What is going on with the crypto bull market? Is it still a bull market? Is it over? Everybody's at odds about that. So many angles to look at it. Apparently gold is the new gold standard yet again, despite the crash the other day. So many angles to come at what is going on with this market right now. And also huge movements. If you look up right now, the top Ethereum strategic reserves, and you're looking to find PulseChain, you're not going to see it at its last ranking. Why? Because that Ethereum has all moved. Where did it go? I don't know. Where did the ETH go? I don't know. We'll talk about that tonight and see what could be happening, what plans could be for PulseChain. But hey, first, we got to make sure we're even in a bull market anymore, because there's plenty of people disagreeing about that. From my Twitter feed, I would say the majority of people believe that we are on the way down. Most people are bearish from what I can see. I was saying to you off air, Ewok, I keep seeing these posts every now and then from people saying, like, everyone's talking about an Altseason. You better rethink that. You better check yourself. I don't see a lot of people talking about an Altseason, honestly. So it looks pretty bearish out there to me. Welcome into all you guys. Yeah, Ivor, Dejin Moonboy, Valiant Low Key, checks my pulse, Tam Tam. Nice catch on the Peacock the other day, Tam Tam. That was pretty insane. I don't know if I'm doxing myself by this, but Ewok and I don't see random peacocks in the middle of the road where we live. I don't know where that does exist usually, but Wesley Whips, Mike Crypt, some new names. I think I saw the Rat earlier. My thing won't move right now, so I can't see other people, but yeah, welcome into all of you. We appreciate all of you being here. Viper Styles, what is up? What does Viper have here, Ewok?
He says, hey, Ewok, best boy crypto and chat. Your best boy tonight. Tap the like button if you like gold, but smash if you like Hexaco more.
Smash the shit out of that like button.
Smash it.
Appreciate you guys being here. So yeah, Ewok, after a week off, feeling a little bit refreshed. I know we've both been busy, maybe you more so than me, but I still find time to check in on the market, where it seems like you kind of just pretend you're not in crypto anymore, I guess. Yep. But how are you feeling about things? What do you think about the market? And we'll get right into it here in a minute.
Markets? What markets? What are we talking about? What are we here talking about tonight? I don't even know. That's how disassociated I've been with it and out of it. But you know what? I've enjoyed it, actually. I think I had said to you and DJ and Moonboy, I hadn't looked at my portfolio in like a week and a half, 2 weeks. And then I was like, man, I wish I wouldn't have. But either way, it's been good. I don't mind not checking. Kind of been here before, done that. You got to wait. It's just a matter of waiting at this point. I'm not one of those people who think it's over at all. By any means, it hasn't even started yet. There's been so many tweets. Richard saying, I don't care about Altseason, I care about our season. That was one of the quotes that kind of stuck out to me the most. Is it hasn't happened yet, guys. There's nothing to worry about. All you can do is sit back, relax, wait, or keep buying. One of the two. You're going to kick yourself if you haven't bought yet at these prices, the super discount that we're getting, before this stuff becomes unattainable, at least for a little while, until it kind of pulls itself back. But I have a feeling some of these prices we may never see again, and it might not take too long to get there.
Well, and I don't know how much all that means coming from you. I mean, you kind of are the delusional perma bull, but we'll get into what other people's thoughts are on the market. But I tend to agree with you. I mean, we'll get into it in a second, but we've seen only Bitcoin run this cycle. There's many, many macro things that are still coming that are extremely positive for risk on assets. And even though we're close to it, we have not lost key levels on Bitcoin on a daily or weekly basis yet. I know, people are pinching their cheeks right now and they're worried about it and everything, but a lot of those people are kind of Bitcoin only people. And I think maybe lose sight of or forget of the fact that their retail will come when they have money too. And they know that they don't care about Bitcoin. I mean, we've talked about that the last few weeks. People do not care. I mean, that's crystal clear. Bitcoin's run this entire cycle. It's been the only thing going. Solana had a nice 2024. That's about it. Nobody cares. Nobody talks about Bitcoin. Nobody's interested in Bitcoin. The parabolic gains just are not there. And it's been co-opted, frankly, by huge corporations, unfortunately. So that's where we're at with it. And we'll get right into that. If you have any thoughts on that, we'll just look at the prices here.
Well, yeah. I mean, there have been so many middlemen injected into Bitcoin that, as far as I'm concerned, I don't even care about what it does anymore. It's had a run. It will do its thing, but I'm not invested in it because that's not where the gains are. Most of the people that are here in our chat, I'm sure there's some that have, some Bitcoin, but the majority of their holdings is in the PulseChain ecosystem and some of the smaller ones. They're here for the large gains, and you can't get that anymore with Bitcoin unless you have millions of dollars to invest. And even then, you're looking at what, 8x maybe from the very bottom if you were lucky enough to catch a $15,000 dip. So yeah, we're here for more than that. So that's what I got. I'll bring up the chart here.
Yeah, Bitcoin sitting at 107K right now. So that 107.5 or 108K has been a really key number, and it has seemed kind of magnetic for Bitcoin over the last few days. So going into yesterday, it was trading right around 108. The volatility is wild right now. Like the volatility that we are seeing is that of a bull market, or, not where we're ranging for a while. It just seems we saw the huge gold sell-off, which we'll have to get into the gold thing a little bit too. Of course, it hits new all-time highs, and then has like the biggest sell-off that it's had in over 10 years, I believe it was, of like 6% in a day yesterday. And it was so funny because that gold sell-off for a couple hours point went straight into Bitcoin. Bitcoin went up by the exact same percentage that gold had gone down. We saw Bitcoin get back up to 113. Everybody's feeling bullish. This is what's happening. Like we're going to bring up names like Bob Lucas and some of these big like Bitcoin and crypto influencers and charters and stuff like that. But they're getting swayed by it. Like I hear them getting like, oh, okay, here we go. Bitcoin's going again. And now here we are back. We just lost 108K, which has been a key level. Now the day hasn't closed yet. Probably need to see multiple days below that. It's not like losing 108K means the end of the bull market or anything like that, but it's been a key level people are looking at. And here we are down here again. So we're seeing all this volatility. When it comes to Bitcoin, the number that a lot of people are throwing out that we don't want to lose is around 98K, like on the weekly. If we start seeing multiple daily, weekly closes below 98K, that's when a lot of people would be, I think, maybe rightfully concerned. But we could see we've seen this stuff before. We've seen Bitcoin and Ethereum and all these things go down and tickle the taint, if you will, of the area that it needs to go to, and then it just we come right back up. It likes to do that. It flirts with disaster and comes right out. Maybe we see a day or two close below 98, and everybody. I mean, you think people are panicking now and thinking that? I mean, they will lose their shit. I mean, Bob Lucas will sell half of whatever he's got left. You know, and you're allowed to do whatever you want, but we came here for a party that has not started yet. You know, and I think there's many things to look forward to it still happening, and like many have said. At this point, what the fuck else are you going to do? What are we going to do? Like, so we haven't profited. We don't have any money. You know what I mean? To kind of quote Johnny Chaos from a couple weeks ago. I mean, we don't, you know, we haven't had our day in the sun, and that's not just PulseChain, that's altcoins. I mean, that's practically even Ethereum. So sorry for bogarting the conversation so far, but yeah, BTC at 107K, ETH at about 3750 right now. 3800 has been a key area for it. So what do you think of just where we're at with these two right now, Ewok?
Well, I think did I unmute my mic? Yeah, I did. Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
I think my taint tickler is closer to about 92. If you look back here, one of the previous levels of major support was back in looks to be December of 24-ish, where this 92,000 level was tested multiple times before breaking through. I think I mean I agree with that 98 level, because that is the low of this last uptrend that we have in this range. The low was right about 98,300, but I think it really could drop down into some of these previous levels of 92, and boy, wouldn't that really just freak people out before it really decided to rocket. That's kind of the target area that I'm seeing is between 98 and 92. One dip before it really takes off, because I do feel like there's a lot of resistance here, or you know, more so support than anything in this area. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen. Now, as far as Ethereum, you know, it's doing a little bit more action. You know, the last time we saw this bull flag back here in June, it did break out of that. Now we're almost creating another one. Weirdly enough, there's another bull flag that's kind of creating itself here, even though it is testing in this range. And it looks like it, you know, it's got a little bit of time to go. If we were to draw some lines on here and have this play out, it would kind of create a nice little triangle here for a bull flag. So that's what I'm seeing. I think it does have a little bit more, maybe, I don't know, early November is what it almost looks like, where it would almost peak out to be November 10th ish, where it would have to kind of decide what it's going to do, whether it goes up or down. But yeah, I think Bitcoin at the same time could also play out and do one of these, because it's really been flirting. We've dropped below the 50, the 50 SMA. You know, usually when it chops around back and forth, you're in between the 50 and the 200, which it's done. It's broke out. It's came back into that level. It's still chopped. Now we broke below it. When it breaks below it, you know, you can almost sense something deeper is coming. And I think, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see that even in the same range, basically, by like the 9th, 10th of November, that we see some sort of dip before it really decides to run. And, you know, and if that happens, then we're still on the 6 to 8 week hard run, if that scenario plays out. Now, you know, there's the other scenarios too of, well, are we really waiting for money printing to happen? And if that's the case, well, we'll probably need a couple more interest lowerings from the Fed, a couple more scenarios. But, you know, then we talk about gold, which, you know, was another thing. And did you want to get into that right now?
Go
too?
ahead. Yeah, because it's kind of where I was going to pivot to next. Yeah, just the fact I was
you
just
look at
saying,
gold's chart.
Are we on a delay? I'm sorry. Or I don't know. We talked over.
No, your mic was cutting out a little bit.
Okay, I was just going to say real quick, like to set up the gold thing. It's like over the last 4 years, if you've been in altcoins or buy Ethereum, altcoins, whatever, it's like every trade in the world has beat you. Like we are the only thing that has not been able to run so far. That includes gold of all things, and now we're seeing this parabolic move from gold right now. And yeah, you had some thoughts from me off the air about it as well too. But looking at the chart and then whatever your thoughts are.
Well, yeah, I mean, so first of all, when you see something run from $3,300 all the way up to almost 4,400, and the current market cap is $28.6 trillion,
Yeah.
it is taking a massive, massive amount of money to pump that price. And I don't care what anyone says, retail is not doing this. There are bigger forces at play here. And I've heard some speculation, possibly that the Fort Knox audit that we have has been performed. The gold is apparently there. Maybe it's not there. And guess who's buying it to replace what was there? Or the government has some other plans to maybe collateralize what they do have and borrow against it, whether it be to invest in a lot of strategic government reserves that they're planning. I know they have they have a bunch of Ethereum, some of the, obviously maybe not the government itself, but some of the higher up folks and part of the families have been buying Ethereum. But there was also supposed to be a crypto strategic reserve where there was a couple things said. One time they said, well, we're not really going to buy any. We're just going to hold everything that we've kind of stole from everybody else, and that's going to be our reserve. Then there were other talks where there was a possibility where they would be buying stuff themselves and holding it. I've heard some mixed thoughts about that, where they could be collateralizing the gold supply to buy in and kind of strengthen that crypto reserve. So who knows? I mean, that could only be a great thing for all of us if they do decide to do that. That would definitely spark retail coming in. But backing up to my original point, you cannot have a run like this with retail with almost a $29 trillion market cap. It is just way too heavy. I don't care if the stores around the world have people lined up trying to buy grams of gold. It's not going to do it, right? So just my thoughts on that.
I agree with you 100%. It smells of manipulation, like a lot of stuff has this cycle so far. And to turn it back into a potential copium narrative for us, we have in the past. Now, maybe there haven't been parabolic gold upruns like this, but we have seen gold profits rotate back into Bitcoin in bull markets before. So a lot of people started calling for that the last few days. Obviously, I mean, the top of gold here, which that may not have been the top, it doesn't look great right now. There's a chance maybe it goes back up and doubles it or whatever, or double tops. I mean, but it started to look like that rotation just began in real time yesterday. And again, all these people on crypto Twitter that are negative again today, were negative 2 days ago, flipped, boom, bullish yesterday. I'm talking like Will Clemente, Bob Lucas, Big Cheds, like all these people that have been here multiple cycles and everything. And I get it. Like it was happening right in front of their eyes. Like we started to see this big green daily candle on Bitcoin, but people are just flip-flopping with every single day right now. And I guess my question to you is, will we see that bigger rotation back into Bitcoin and separating then from gold, looking at all these macro things? We've got 2 more FOMC meetings this month. Am I right about that? Yeah. October 3rd,
Yes.
I think like Halloween-ish. And then
December.
It's a week from today, I think. And then in December, beginning or mid of December. So 2 more rate cuts are coming this year, probably 25 basis points each. They're going to continue into next year. Jerome Powell out in May of next year. Money printing on the way. We know that the global M2 money supply has been going up. All these things are happening. So first, gold rotation, and then the future here. Are we just screwed? Like, did we just miss this and it was a Bitcoin only cycle, or what? Where do we go from here?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We still have time. Like I said, even if things play out the way I just threw a scenario out there, We're looking at, the very beginning, first week or so of November. Even if that happens in the rotation, the gold rotation, the gold run may be over. But I do believe there will be more profit taking from later people and rotate into Bitcoin. Once that happens, retail does start to take off. And as always, Bitcoin always rotates into Ethereum. Ethereum always rotates, into altcoins after that about 30 days. So, we're still kind of on target. If it's delayed because of money printing, whatever, into early next year, so be it. Again, we talked about this even off air too. So many people with so many theories can all be right. Like, if we're only a month or two off, then yeah, it is what it is. You said it would go way into 2020. It's not you specifically, but some people said it would go way into 2026. Well, if it's mid 2026, okay, they're right. I said something like end of first quarter. If it goes into mid, then I'm 2 months off. Nobody's 100% accurate on these, and we only know what we know based on historic data, and until it changes, that's kind of what we have to go with. So many different theories can all be right.
Well, you're right. And also the definitions of these things. So Bob Lucas talks about the 4-year cycle. So I don't hear him very frequently describe what exactly defines that. I mean, that we think of it as like basically everything's down for 3 years and then up for a bull market. There's many ways of looking at it, but I've seen him say a lot recently that it's basically 4 years between the Bitcoin cycle low. And I imagine that those 4 years are not to the day or to the month. So we saw
right.
Bitcoin's last low in November of 2022 last time. Okay, I'm guessing he would consider it still to be a 4-year cycle if Bitcoin hits its bear market low in anywhere from maybe like September of 26 to like March of 27. I mean, like that's like a 6-month period. So
sure.
So in other words, and I've even seen him say this, Bitcoin, let's say the crypto cycle tops in May of 2026. He's still right that it's a 4-year cycle as long as it, bottoms out. All these things, there's a lot of nuance and people don't define what it is they're talking about. I don't think anybody even knows what a super cycle is or means or what they even mean when they say it. I think they just mean pumping into 2026. I don't know what they mean. Nobody defines these things. So you kind of have to do that. The thing to look at as like a long-term investor, which we are, is the thing I bought's never done anything yet. So all I need to know is, it's cool to think about all these time periods and stuff like that and hypotheticals and everything. But what action am I taking right now? Holding and buying. That's what I am doing. I know that's what you're doing, Ewok. You guys in the chat, I'm imagining, are probably doing that. I'm not thinking about selling. There's nothing to sell. I mean,
right.
Not going to sell at a loss, So, and it's not just us. Contrary to the popular belief within PulseChain for months, altcoins haven't done anything.
Nope.
As an index. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with that completely. I mean, I guess it really depends on your time frame, right? I'm not going anywhere soon. I've got 15-year stakes still. I just made one the other day. So I've got a lot of long-term life in me, and at these prices, I'm not selling. I'm not ready to get rid of it. I'm a collector, just like Johnny's a collector. He's mentioned that before in many of his videos. He will buy things cheap and just sit on them. They will eventually become rare enough that people want to pay more for it. And I'm not willing to part ways with it until I get a certain price, which I think is worth it. So, and even then, I wouldn't get rid of all of it. There's no possible way. I will always have some of it. So, again, it's really based on time frame. When you stick with the true ethos of one of Richard's belief is that delayed gratification will benefit you greatly if you're just willing to hold it out and stick it through for extended periods of time. You will be heavily rewarded, and I do believe that fully. So.
Yeah, I'm with you. And even if we believe it and we're wrong, again, what am I going to do otherwise?
Exactly.
Not selling. So speaking of Professor Chaos, he has appeared in the chat. So is Duke of Booze at the same time, actually. So it's a couple of good, intriguing guests here with us tonight. So I appreciate you guys joining. For now, Ewok, any final thoughts on the crypto market at large before we get into PulseChain centric stuff?
Not really. Nope.
Okay. Holding out, seeing where we go from here, basically. If you guys are enjoying the show so far, do us a favor. And Johnny's here. I'm not going to say peg the like button. I'll say Hulk smash the like button. We appreciate you guys being here. Let's get into PulseChain. So just starting off with the prices, and full disclosure, I DCA'd earlier today, so I believe that was the reason for not just the PulseChain dip, but everything, Bitcoin and everything else dipping. We have Pulse at 4-0-2814. We've got PulseX 4-0-1898. We have Hex at 006192. We have Inc at $1.16 and eHex at 002. Chat, if you want to put PDI in there, I don't want to offend anybody by saying the price of it tonight or anything. So what do you where do you want to go with this? I mean, we can look at the Pulse chart to see where we are right now, but I just was looking at Pulse, zoomed out on the daily, the weekly the other day, and you're basically buying the lows right now. I mean, if you look at the thing all time, I mean, yes, when Johnny was on just a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about people kind of playing that game of chicken right now, saying like, well, I want to stay in stables a little bit and wait for a bigger dip or whatever. Your downside risk is very minimal. I mean, we go down, at this point, we've gone down even further. So we go down 40% or something like that. Whereas if we go up only eventually here, or just start to go up at all, you could really find yourself wanting to ape in later and missing a run. So, I just, every time I get access to cash, I'm basically DCAing here. We're essentially at the lows. So, anyway, what do you want to do here? You're clicking around. I don't see.
I'm trying to get it to expand with all this other crap out of here. And there used to be a button.
Johnny, you used to have Johnny's saying his wrench was removed. I didn't know he honestly had a wrench with us, but how do we wrench him again? I think I have to go to YouTube.
You have to go through YouTube. Wow.
Okay. Well, I promise I did not know or purposely remove a wrench from you, Johnny. So I would not do that. But let's see here. I'll figure it out. Why don't you go ahead and do what you're doing? I don't want to stop.
No, you're good. So just looking at we are definitely in a downward trend that has not broken out of any kind of support here. It looks like it's tried a couple times, but each time it has failed. And again, why would anybody put any kind of money into pumping anything at these prices? Because people just aren't willing to hold it. So this market is not ready yet for a pump, in my opinion. Unfortunately, it kind of sucks, but when you see this and every pump is met with an immediate sell-off, it pumps, it sells off, it pumps, it sells, and it keeps going lower. We keep making lower lows. So now this last one, we have to wait until this downtrend here plays out. If we can catch support before we get to the, I guess it's about 4-0-2-6-8-9 area. If we can bounce before that, then that would be, somewhat of a reversal. But every other pump again has been met with a lower low. This one pumped lower low. This one pumped lower low. So until that trend changes, no sane person would pump the price at this point until the sellers are a little bit more exhausted. Just my opinion on that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm trying to add Johnny as a moderator here.
Again, you should be able to do it right from the YouTube channel.
It's good. We don't have to talk about it. I think I just did it. Okay. So and as far as like the all-time chart, like just zooming out, we're basically at the lows. Like I'm just aping in anything that I can right now. I'm still going to do it. Call me a delusional idiot. That's fine. At this point we're holding to zero. It's either, you can kill me or send me to Valhalla. It doesn't really matter at this point. So, it's just been, a ridiculous time. And like we just said in the previous segment, I mean, we have not seen Ethereum move. We have not seen, money rotate into assets like this. And the way to look at it now, I mean, if you want some copium or, are actually interested in buying the ecosystem and aren't selling everything because you're bearish and wuss, it's basically to say, I now have been afforded like months and months to make my bags bigger than I ever thought that I could. Like I remember like at the beginning when this thing launched and everything, trying to think of like, oh man, what if I got this many these tokens, like PulseX, whatever. And I was like, I'm not going to get there. Well, now I've like doubled those areas. You know what I mean? So maybe it never pumps and I'm embarrassed and look like an idiot, but I've gotten so many more tokens, than I ever would have thought that I've been able to. So it's just trying to have that abundance mindset about acquiring as much as you can. But if you're too afraid to and want to put your money in something else or hold stables, it's totally fine. I'm not going to tell you what to do. So
sure.
What are you looking at here? What direction?
I'm just looking through some charts. I mean, I was looking at PulseX, didn't really look at anything. No, the daily, no, never mind. That was a 15-minute chart. You have to zoom out to really see anything here. They're all looking the same. Again, every buy is met with a lower low. Every buy, except this one didn't quite make it on the last one. It didn't go a lower low. It did. This is Hex. So this one is showing a little bit more strength and starting, depending on where this candle ends up, starting a slight rounding, upturn maybe. We'll see what happens here. But the Hex is at least looking the strongest out of the Pulse ecosystem at the moment.
Yeah. Price wise, I mean, just kind of still hanging out where we've been and not a lot to say, I guess, really. Just still been buying these. We're basically at the lows that were the original all-time low in August of 2023. So not a lot different. And just planning on going into next year. I mean, at this point, I think it's pretty safe to say that we won't see, if there is an end to this whatever 4-year cycle at some point, I don't think we'll see the top of whatever Hex or PulseChain is going to do in the next 2 months. Hey, maybe we saw it in, June of 2023. Maybe that was it, whatever it launched. I don't know. But we'll find out. I'm still waiting. So do you have anything else you want to say on the prices, or do you want to get into kind of the main thing, which was the action that we saw from the, whatever you want to call it, PulseChain Ethereum Treasury the other day, the SAC funds, whatever you want to call it. Go ahead.
I started this comment from Viper Styles from a little bit ago. I knew we would kind of get to this. Hang on, let me pull this down because we don't need that right now. It says, Ewok, can we have your thoughts on RH using Tornado Cash to move the ETH SAC funds? Can you give us a positive and negative breakdown on your thoughts of this move? Well, I think it's all positive, honestly. Nobody needs to know, really. Those funds are not ours. If anything, they are to be used strategically when it's good and ready to use them, or to entice people to try and front run it. The funds may never move, and maybe too many wallet watchers were just having fun thinking that they knew what was going to happen. That kind of takes the advantage away from that entity. So I think it's all positive. I don't really know that there is a negative breakdown, in at least that I can think of. I'm not a real big fan of wallet watchers anyway. It's kind of good to know what's going on, but I am definitely not one to sit there and watch and wait and worry about what somebody else is going to do. I have no control over it. So I don't lose sleep over what they do or don't do. Would it be nice? Yeah, sure. It would be nice. But again, I'm not wasting time, worrying about it. I think it is good, though. I think it can be used for multiple different things. It can be used for more marketing. It could be used for purchasing the price. But I don't, again, think any sane person would do that right now. when the sellers will sell every little pump that we have. So that's my take on it. Now, what's yours?
Yeah, I agree that it's 100%. Like, there's no way you would pump money into this ecosystem right now. I mean, like, just with the overall status of the market and everything, people are mainly bearish. I would want everybody to just continue to sell as much as they're going to, honestly, here. No, I'm 100% in favor of moving the funds and tornadoing them, if that's what's been done with all of them. I don't know if I think they all did go through Tornado Cash, though. I'm pretty sure. I saw Ren made a comment that he didn't think they were all tornadoed, but I think they were. I think it's definitely good because you don't want people front running moves. I would be annoyed by all these wallet watchers and stuff like that. I mean, most of the time, those people probably are not accurate anyway. Like, I think they like to surmise a lot of things and say things to their followers just to, gain clout or pretend that they have background knowledge of what's going on when they really don't. They're just guessing. But you would absolutely want to put all that stuff behind somewhere else. I mean, I would not want people knowing where it's coming from, where it's going, or anything like that. And I think it's a great move because that way, we've seen so many people. I mean, RH himself even said it, which we'll get into kind of his little reply session, Q&A, whatever you want to call it, that he had on Twitter last week. But he even said himself, he saw like a big whale whenever they came and put a bunch of money, I think it was like $24 million or so, into this ecosystem winter spring of 2024. It just got sold right back down. We saw like PulseX get up to above sack rate. Actually, I think it might have been double sack rate at that time. I don't even remember. But we saw all this stuff just get sold right back down. And you're not going to continue to do that under this kind of environment. And I wouldn't want people knowing that it is this guy or that guy or any specific guy, because I don't want them front running my moves or feeling like they can gain a hedge on what it is I'm doing. So I definitely think it's a good idea. I am curious to your thoughts on this, because Johnny, actually, speaking of him, brought this up when he was on last. The idea of having an Ethereum treasury as kind of a marketing thing and just showing that you can hold something. You know what I mean? And obviously that is not going to show that anymore. That total amount is no longer in that treasury. I personally could care less, but it was something that was kind of a nice little feather in your cap, but probably not as nice as an ecosystem pumping and you don't know who's buying and what's going on. So
yeah, there's that, definitely. And who knows, that money could all come back into that account and just sit there. Maybe it's used for other things. Maybe it's used to borrow. There's some thoughts out there that there was a big loan made where there was more ETH borrowed. Again, no one really knows because the wallets are anonymous at this point. So, but who's to say that money doesn't kind of round trip and come right back to that Ethereum, whatever eventually. Yeah. So again, that would also go to the point of saying, look, I may have used this to do certain things with, but it's all still here and maybe even more, so that would be quite interesting as well.
Good comment from Rocket Mob here, because a lot of people take this for granted, but he says, when was the quote, sacrifice funds will be used to pump PulseChain, quote, said, and who said it? Where did this start? Great point. Nobody can pinpoint that. It's been this assumption basically all this time, and that's a great point that we've discussed. We did it with Johnny a couple of weeks ago. That may never be used for that. We have no idea. Like you just said earlier, Ewok, they were sacrificed. You gave them away. You have no idea what it's going to be used for, whether it'll be used. Now, I think you kind of trust in the guy that had commissioned this blockchain and everything, that it'll probably be used for something you'd agree with, whatever that is. Like, it's probably not going to be used to like bomb civilians or something like that, I don't think. But what could it be used for? I don't know. Buying the ecosystem up, holding an Ethereum treasury, marketing. I don't know. I know the meme of no expectations. It's just that, you have an idea that when you buy a stock that might be affiliated with Elon Musk, when you buy a crypto that it might be affiliated with Richard Hart or whatever, you think your values align with this guy. So you think that probably it'll be used for something that you agree with,
Right. I'm gonna comment on our friend Wall to Wall here.
I haven't seen him in a while. Welcome back.
He said Richard said it countless times. That's the origin, and that's not really true. Richard has said multiple times, I have many options. I have options available. I have a lot of options available, and it's not just the sacrifice fund. So that is what he said. He never came out and specifically said, I'm going to pump the shit out of this ecosystem. So, I mean, read between the lines, but, the guy has a lot of money, to do multiple things. But, Johnny's right here. The FUD. So here's the thing, good on one hand, bad on the other. The only reason it pumps is because Richard pumped it. Well, okay.
Yeah.
That's why Tornado Cash was probably used, because prove it, right? Prove that was him doing it. So you have to get reason for retail to get in here and buy it as well. Sometimes it needs a little kickstart. Maybe that's what it's used for, whatever. Again, green candles are a great form of advertisement. Who's to say who's doing it? What, Godwill could step in again and do something. We don't know. So, yeah, I mean, I completely agree. There's good, there's bad. And, you definitely don't want that stigma around crypto saying the only reason it pumps is because Richard bought it all up. Okay, well, if that's the case this cycle, what's it like next cycle when it becomes even more rare and hard to get? So, there are good and bad things about it, but yeah, I mean, there's always going to be FUD, and no matter what we do, we're still gatekept from Hex 5 years later, almost 6 years now at this point. There's still people talking shit about it. So I don't know. Some of these things you'll never get rid of. There will always be FUD out there, haters out there that are trying to, put it down because they still don't like Richard.
Yeah, definitely. On the other part of this, so okay, the funds sent out through Tornado Cash, we are aware of that. What's really interesting then, and this is kind of too convenient. Actually, I think it might have been tied to one of the wallets. I'm trying to remember, and I sent you the post. It was that. I don't remember it. It's like a wallet watching type of account, like some large account. It's not PulseChain related.
Zero Hedge.
No. No, he actually that's kind of just a funny throwaway thing. But
the Look On Chain.
Yeah, Look On Chain. So that was where the Zero Hedge retweet originated from. Basically, Zero Hedge said, did anybody alert the SEC about the suspected Richard Hart wallet moving those funds? And it's like, oh my God, just like the idiocy of that tweet, like not knowing anything of what you're talking about. Like literally the precedent setting only blockchain, only person who has a decision against the SEC in favor of their blockchain, which is just funny. But the other one though, so this is really interesting. So this one we have the mysterious whale with 610 million USDC, which just happens to match about the amount of the ETH Treasury for PulseChain, borrowed a total of 66,000 ETH, $265 million from Aave, and deposited it into Binance and gave the address. Now, these amounts, it's eerie because it's roughly the same amount as the Treasury, but it is USDC. It's not ETH. Now, obviously, you could always make that trade. But what do you make of this? First off, is we just criticized wallet watchers. And this person didn't say it's Richard Hart. So, I will say that. They said this mysterious whale. But a lot of people are saying, are intimating that like, oh, what if this is him? That's about the same amount. What could this be for? Do you think this should just be thrown away? Or, I don't know, do you make anything of this? And if so, what could this be? Because it looks like providing some kind of liquidity or something on Binance. So I'm curious what your thoughts may be on this.
Yeah, I really didn't think anything of it. The ETH was there. Nobody knows that it was traded. As far as we know, it's still in Ethereum. Why it would be done at this point without ETH going up, in fact, going down, it might be in just a little bit of profit, like from when it was the average buy-in price. Norm, I think it's right about the same price, though. It might have been $3,700, $3,800, and we're at what, 39. So Yeah, I didn't make anything of this. Nobody, there's 610 million USDC. And why would it even go to Binance unless we were getting a listing, which a listing does not cost that much. So I said, I looked through this a little bit. Nothing jumped out at me like obviously him or not him or yeah. And then the Binance thing. I know Richard has talked massively bad things about Binance and having people that couldn't get their money out of there and had funds that were stuck. Highly doubt that this was him.
Yeah. Okay. Just thought it was interesting, the timing of it and everything, and the amount, I guess it remains to be seen. But, one thing's for sure, to Rocket Mob's point earlier about the assumption that those funds would be used for X, Y, or Z or to pump the chain or whatever. Again, I think the reason that a lot of us are invested in this ecosystem is because of the cult of personality that Richard is and that he's developed, the products that he's created, and again, investing in somebody that you believe has their values aligned with yours, essentially. So whatever that money is, whatever it's doing, anything like that, I am, and you are, Ewok. I mean, we're placing our bets on this pony. You know what I mean? It's not, we don't have to say it. I mean, our actions are pretty much proving it. So,
exactly.
Continue to do so. So, any final thoughts on any of those interesting moves?
Yeah. The last thought I have, and we kind of talked about this as well. There will be silly whale games all over the place. They do interesting things like this to make people talk, to make people front run, just to, oh, this person's gonna sell, I'm gonna short it. And then next thing you know, the price goes up and they get liquidated. And then after everyone's liquidated, then it does drop down and everyone's like, oh, well, now it's time to long it. And it goes even further and they get liquidated again. And you're going to see all these crazy, silly whales that are out there playing games and manipulating the market like they always do. Your best bet is honestly sit back, buy a little bit if you can, dollar cost average, and just watch, because you do not want to get mixed in with these whales picking up pennies in front of freight trains, right? It's a bad time when you try to get mixed in with some of the games that they play. You will get run over.
I get why people don't want to buy spot altcoins. Look at how the last 4 years have gone. I mean, it's not fun on the way. You want to be earning yield on it. That was, of course, the big DeFi Ponzi yield was last cycle, 2020 and 2021. And yeah, it's not fun to just sit on an asset that seems like it's going down most of the time. But as you just said, doing that, throwing it into cold storage or something, forgetting about it and moving on for a little while is usually the right move. It's just paying attention to it every single day. It makes it excruciating. Valiant low key. Yeah, this was very interesting. And I know this is an eye roll type of thing, but it is just odd that this, I've seen the movie The Game. I know it's Richard Hart's favorite movie, tied with Aliens 3, I think he said, or whatever. The Game actually is my favorite movie by David Fincher, which, I mean, he has a lot of good ones, but it's definitely my favorite. Just the way it's shot and everything, and great acting in it. It's a cool story. But yeah, I didn't remember this. But yeah, there literally is. Why can I not think of the star actor's name in that movie? Somebody in the chat is gonna say it, and I'm kicking myself right now for
never saw it.
Okay, it's you don't watch movies anyway, really, though. So I mean,
not really.
Tell me that much, but put the guy's name in the chat. I don't know why I'm forgetting his name right now. He's in Falling Down. He's Gordon Gekko, if I'm not mistaken, too. I don't know why I can't think of his name. But yeah, Michael Douglas. Yeah, there we go. Close Greylock. That's his dad. But yeah, he actually loses like $600 million in that movie. It's quoted in it. Something about $600 million. So just a weird thing. That it happened to be that amount anyway. So, yeah. Anyway, that's it. Ewok's not giving me any response on that. So
I got nothing. I got
Okay,
nothing.
it's a boring movie. I totally disagree. I think the scene whenever he goes back in his house and they're blasting that Jefferson Starship song, the Alice and Go Ask Alice when she's 10 feet tall. Great scene, weird, scary. I love it. Great movie. I disagree with you. You're wrong, Rand. Put your favorite David Fincher movies in the chat. I would like to hear what you guys think. I mean, he's got at least 8 very good films. I would like to see Emilio Estevez, DJ Moonboy says. Okay, so we can move on from David Fincher, but yeah, throw it in the chat. Like to hear what you guys think. We'll have a movie night one of these sometimes. Ewok won't show up because he's not as much of a movie guy. But anyway, we can move on from this. Ewok, do you want to get into, now I know we're like a week late on this, but I think that we need to talk about it a little bit because of what it could mean longer term and because of some of the specific things that were said. But we had Richard come out last week and start posting things. Countless posts, I don't even remember, but there was one kind of chief thread that he made where he just replied to everybody. Like, I mean, the comments have been open for a while, but he has not engaged directly with a community like this in a forward-facing manner in, I don't know, 3-4 years, I want to say. And he was in there mixing it up, doing Q&As with people in the comments. No, he hasn't streamed again yet, which I know a lot of people are clamoring for, and he's perfectly aware that people enjoy that. But he went in here, did a lot of Q&A, answered a lot of questions. People gleaned a lot from some of it. Others, people were asking him, like, what's your favorite TV show of all time and shit like that. Yeah, and obviously the term cryfaggers was born out of this, directed at our friend Corey Costa, who, to his credit, I will say, and, Corey's had a rough time of some things the last few years. I mean, haven't we all? But, he has kind of taken that in stride. He got called a cryfagger by the man. And, hey, he's still posting his deadlifting all-time high videos and talking about cryfagging in the gym. So shout out.
And he owned it. He did own it. He said, yeah, I guess I have been complaining a little bit. I mean, so that was good on him for, taking it like a champ. So
I agree.
One of the most important, I think, comments that kind of came out of this whole thing, though, I don't remember where it was or at what point, but somebody did ask him as, hey, if we can set up some interviews with some bigger name people, would you do them? And he said, yes, absolutely. So
yeah,
the whole live streaming thing, just because he hasn't done it, he said if we can get something set up with somebody that has substantially more followers, that he would be willing to do it. So I thought that was a good thing. How about you?
Yeah, I thought that was good. One thing that I think, not saying that it relates to that one, but just that I think with Richard, like, I don't even mean this in a conspiratorial way. I mean, I don't think he always means on its face exactly what he's saying whenever he says certain things. So I took some things as like tongue in cheek or didn't know how much to believe some of the things that he said. Honestly, beyond anything specific that was said, I was more interested just that he was doing this. I mean, what does that say in itself? Because, you look at the actions, you look at the behaviors of something somebody does, not necessarily what they're saying. What is this? Does this intimate anything to you? Because obviously, I saw Ian from, I don't remember his last name, but he's on with B Roots and stuff all the time. He's the UFC fighter guy. He asked multiple times, like, hey, any updates on the Interpol situation? Interpol. And, we were kind of discussing what it is that Richard actually said in response earlier, but he would never actually type that word out. But it sounded like, I thought he said, like, no updates on it. You said that Richard said, I'm not answering any questions about that entity. So, curious on your thoughts on his responses there. Or again, just looking at the behavior that he's engaging in this manner and getting kind of bull market sassy Richard again. It seems like maybe some clarity could be coming. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, yeah, just the fact that he wouldn't answer, and he did. I forget how it was worded, whether he said, I'm not going to discuss anything that starts with inter or anything that ends in pool or something like that.
Yeah.
I was looking for the actual comment, and I can't seem to track it down. It was in the middle of all of this mess, but not really a mess. There is a lot of good questions in here that he thoughtfully answered, many of them, and it took him several hours. And he's like, I'll be back in a couple hours for more enriching engagement. I thought that was cool. He's taking a break, but I will be back. And then shortly after, he said, back and ready for more education. I think it was right after this is when, right here, actually. So dudes, finding convos hidden almost 20 different threads and having to recheck occasionally is unbearable. So anything else you want to talk about that don't end, start with enter.
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah, that was the exact comment that I was talking about. It's so
there is something that is actually interesting. I sent you this exact reply, Ewok, if you check your messages from me. Because I really wanted to get Richard's views on what is happening with the macro market. You saw I asked him kind of directly about a timeline and for his thoughts about this bull cycle going into 2026. I didn't get a response, but he did respond to Eric's thoughts at Eric's thoughts.
Yeah.
And yeah, I sent it to you. Eric said, I can't believe not a single person has asked you what your thoughts are on the length of this cycle and where we are at in this cycle. 4-year cycle versus extended versus all the other theories. This is one of the main superpowers, one of your main superpowers, and people are instead asking you about keyboards. He says, Richard does, it's harder to call a top when gold is up 60% on the year and 2.3x in 2 years. S&P 500 is up 60% in 2 years. If the dollar is just going to lose versus all assets, you'd think crypto might just be waiting for whatever government or legacy finance guys to run it up once everything else is already run up as far as imaginable. So I don't want to say he sounds as in the dark as everybody else, but I mean, it sounds like he's saying all signs point to it's still going to happen. I don't know when, but it's still going to happen, and this idea, I mean, notice he didn't really say anything about timing there. Like, it's going to happen by this time. Just that what I think we should be focusing on that we talked about earlier in the show, focusing more on like, what are the behaviors of the market? What's happening with macro? Forget about when this will happen, but all the signs are there. It's all starting to look good and it should pour back into crypto. So I like what he said here. Maybe I should have just read into that a little bit more instead of asking my extra question later, but I think he kind of answered it. So what are your thoughts on what he said here?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think so. A lot of times when he has called tops or bottoms, there were so many signals out there. And what he's saying right now is everything's going up. And usually when that happens, it does rotate in, but when, we know it's going to happen eventually. It will happen. It's just a matter of how long or when, they know we are, the dollar is getting devalued every day with some of this stuff. And when assets go up like that, again, people will rotate in. We were just talking about that with gold and into Bitcoin and then into Ethereum, then into altcoins. All this stuff plays a major part in that. But how long does it go up for? And it's really hard to tell when the manipulation is happening, when it'll be done, right? Is there a bigger plan? Are they going to collateralize the gold to invest money? I mean, some of these entities are quite large. And again, just a reminder, the market cap of gold is $28.6 trillion.
Mm-hmm.
What's our debt? It's pretty close to that, right? I mean, that's a shit ton of money. So yeah, I mean, he's just basically saying everything's going up. It's got to be. It's a matter of time until things get rotated in. But as far as picking a date, he's not willing to do it because who knows how long it'll be manipulated for until the right scenario kind of plays out.
Well, also, like we've talked about many times, you pick a date. When do you get married to that, and how dangerous is that? This is the
Sure.
problem, I think, with a lot of these people that, again, what is your definition of a 4-year cycle, I guess? But a lot of people are like, oh, if we're not at the top by December, we're screwed, basically. I mean, if you're 100% married to that, okay, and hey, maybe that rule will still apply for Bitcoin. I mean, like Ethereum has a shit ton of ground to make up. I mean, the altcoin index has a shit ton of ground to make up against Bitcoin. So maybe the Bitcoin people will be right. Hey, yeah, you were right. Congratulations. Yes, Bitcoin will top out in December. It'll go to like 150K, and then everything else will go up only for 3 or 4 or 6 months, and Bitcoin will do nothing. So congratulations. There you go. You were right about Bitcoin. And then everybody beat you at a submission for the next few months. So anyway.
Hexgirl brings up a good point too. It says we're in the process of a new financial system. I think going to gold-backed money and the removal of central banks. Interesting theory that they are propping everything back up with the gold. Again, we know it's manipulation, and we know it's probably mostly from government entities that are buying it up. That is an idea that I hadn't heard recently anyway, but very, very much possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff, Hexgirl. Do you have any other stuff from Richard that maybe was just at top of mind for you, and any of these replies, or anything that you thought was encouraging, discouraging, or anything like that?
Nothing discouraging. I didn't see any negativity really about anything he was talking about. No, I didn't. I was just trying to think. So many people trying to read into what he was saying to spin their agenda, and I just didn't get any of that. So, I'm sure there are people out there that did and would read into it and take the third word of every sentence or third letter of every sentence and make it spell something. But
Right.
I didn't see anything negative. I mean, he was calling things out, rightfully so. He was supporting other things. He was, people were asking for more accolades. I saw Internet Money say, "Hey, can you give us a shout out?" He's like, "Hey, you're first on the list.
You're already on the page.
What more do you want?" kind of thing. So, he was being as real as real could be, I think, with most people, and I just thought that was pretty genuine.
I'll ask you this one, because you brought it up earlier, and a lot of people were like, okay, yeah, that's the most bullish tweet of this whole thing, was whenever he said, I don't care about all season, I care about our season. And it's like, yeah, cool. Like bull market Richard, that sounds awesome. That's the kind of stuff you want your leader to say.
Yeah.
But I wonder, to analyze it and pick out every third word and everything like you just said. Is there any indication there about like I know Richard wants PulseChain and like he did it with Hex. Like he wants his stuff to be like decorrelated from the rest of the market,
Right.
run when nothing else is, make a bunch of people ape into it, like, which is good, because just by the nature of that, you're like the shining city on the hill, and then people
Exactly.
just start flocking to you. So yeah, it creates its own snowball effect just by that timing. So I think that's great. But it also made me wonder, like, what are his ideas of like, well, what if Ethereum is not as aggressive as I thought it may have been this cycle? What if altcoins and the aggregate don't run like they have in the past? What would like our season look like in that case? Like, I'm not saying he was saying that there isn't going to be an alt season by that, but I don't know. I guess I'm just wondering, like, could there be anything you could glean from that like maybe things don't run as hard against Bitcoin as they used to, which so far they haven't at all. Is there, I don't know, what is there some other kind of PulseChain centric season that he believes could still be created, even with Ethereum not doing anything, even though he's taking a huge bet on Ethereum, obviously.
Well, whether he took a huge bet on it or not, I mean, that's where a lot of the assets probably were the safest. And again, we've talked about this, the reasoning behind all the stablecoin shift into Ethereum. It was not trying to time the market. It was safety reasons, right? Most likely. As far as that goes, if he's going to time anything, you would think you would want millions of people to have these tablets, not just a couple 100,000. So there is some time there as far as that goes. And if nothing happens, I agree with you completely. Why wouldn't you want to be the only thing in crypto pumping? I mean, you want eyes on you? That's how you get it. You're the only thing that's moving in the middle of an alt season when everything's going up and you could throw a dart and hit something and buy it and most likely make out okay. That's not when you really want your chain to do well. I mean, obviously you want it to do well when everything else is doing well too. But the ideal time is when nothing else is happening, kind of like Solana, when it had its own run and all those meme coins, the meme mania was happening there. Everybody was going into Solana, whether they were on it originally or not. People were going there just to try and make some money. So when you're the only thing in town happening, your place is usually pretty busy. So I think it's a good thing. Again, I think the timing is still a little off. I think, you want those things in many, many households so that when they do look it up, they can see, oh, this is going up. It's starting to go up. Maybe not a bad idea to put a little bit of money here. So yeah, I think it's a lot of it is timing. A lot of it is planned out pretty strategically, and we just kind of have to again sit back and wait. If you're already invested, overly invested, sit back and wait, and the time will be right. The scenario will play out, and it'll be fine.
Hash commenting here kind of on that comment from Richard too. He says, do you think RH means to pump with chain deep in bear market when then with the 4-year cycle, his cycle, not in the alt season? I mean, I don't think anything gets to pump in a bear market. It's just, we're seeing, I mean, look at it right now. Like we're seeing right now the power and the forces of a bad macro environment, what it does to everything. Like Richard cannot overcome that. Like regardless of how powerful of a man you think he is or how much money he may have, you can't overcome it. So what does he do in those instances? Sits back and waits for the conditions to be right. Like, quite contrary, I would say, Hash. Like, I think it would be just like we saw last cycle. 2022, he disappeared. You know what I mean? Like, he just wasn't present as much. We had the outrage marketing stuff, which he talked about that a lot the other day too, actually. Yeah. But no, I don't think that I don't think he had a choice. Like, I mean, if things are bearish throughout the world like that, I don't think, as much as he would want his stuff to be running when other stuff is absolutely being massacred, it's just going to get sold right back down. I think it would be a terrible use of capital and resources, honestly. So, yeah, I don't really think that.
Yeah. I mean, another thing too, when he was talking about the marketing, the outrage and things like that, and commenting on how low his follower count really was.
Yeah.
That was surprising too. I haven't really looked at his follower count lately, but it has kind of fallen off. So he's got some work to do.
Yeah, his YouTube's at like 100 and some K subs or something like that. But I mean, it's not like he's making content. So
right.
Get subs, obviously. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah,
like, a lot of people don't know he has a YouTube channel. Probably,
it's quite possible. People that have come in the last 2 years. I mean, we've all talked about the content that's there. It'll be there. It's archived there. But yeah, I mean, newer people discovering him or coming across him. That's how a lot of us found him in 2017. Right. Was coming across one of his videos and or a video of him in this top hat trying to give you tips. So there was, again, that needs to come back as well. And it kind of all has to happen. I don't want to say simultaneously, but all intertwined in one way or another, I think.
Yeah. You want it to kind of happen congruently. The marketing, Richard being on streams, like stuff like that. I agree. And I still think we're heading there. I mean, we're seeing these headwinds right now, like the drama that's going on with gold and Bitcoin right now. And I don't know if you saw the stuff about Kobe from the Up Only podcast that used to be around a few years ago. You probably never really listened to it, but it was kind of a mainstream crypto podcast that I remember from last cycle. It was like a big podcast. The hosts are Kobe and Ledger, and they just up and quit, just like most things do in a bear market. Like they just left or whatever. And I guess Kobe had some bet that like if somebody bought some garbage NFT or something like that, then he would come back and do Up Only again. And Coinbase just bought it for like 25 million or something the other day. So he has to bring the podcast back. So there's like there's just stuff happening that started smelling like a bull. Even though I got wrecked in 2021, like a lot of people did, I remember what the vibes were like at the end of 2021. And there's just attention starting to come, I think, especially with this gold euphoria of retail, and I don't know, man. I didn't even mean to get back into like the overall conversation about the market, but those vibes of a bull market and people being here, not just it being crypto people, but the sheep starting to show up and stuff like that. And it's starting to feel like that ever so slightly to me right now.
Well, one of the things we didn't bring up or talk about was the I'm going to bring it up now, and that is the fear and greed, because I have been bringing it up on most every week that we've been doing it. Fear and greed is down to 29. I think it's a little bit lower than where it was even 2 weeks ago. We were at like 30 or 35, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the fear is even lower. But you're right. I do sense that. I see things, the little things that are kind of coming back. So I know who Kobe is. And so, yes, I have seen his stuff. There was a comment earlier today about even streaming with Richard, or somebody asked him, I forget what it was, but I could probably find it if you want to chat about something else.
Yeah, go ahead. Hex Girl asked any updates on the marketing stuff. I heard Crypto Coffee talking today. Johnny, if you're still in the chat, I'm sure maybe you could provide something. I don't want to speak for you, but Crypto Coffee, I mean, everybody that seems to know anything, it sounds like there's no real end in sight, and these things are going to be continued to be delivered in mass for months and months and months to come, deep into 2026. That's everything that I have basically heard. Definitely going to be ramped up throughout the rest of this year. Definitely going into 2026 from everything that I've heard. I think 100,000 or something. I don't know how many have been delivered already. 100,000 or something like that. So yeah, I mean, obviously you're seeing the spare person now and then on Twitter that's getting it, and this is a scam. It's going to drain my wallets. It's going to connect to my Wi-Fi and take my social security number and all this stuff. But yeah, I think it's going to be ramped up still throughout all of next year too. So yeah. Did you have anything else you wanted to say on that?
I can't find it.
That's okay. Let's wrap up on this. We talk about this pretty often, but I saw this question earlier from Dennis. Hold on, David. David Godinez says, "Hey guys, I keep buying EHEX. Am I messing up? I just feel that it will get above. I just feel that it will get above its all-time high, which was about 56 cents. And I'm just that guy that when people are going one way like PHEX, I just like to go the other." David, I mean, I think that we think the exact same way in terms of everybody flocking one way, you want to go the other. That said, I don't think you have EWalk, but I've never decided, you know what? I'm aping in all EHEX right now because I think the ratio is just too far off. People have done that. If you're an experienced, longer term swing ratio trader like that, go right ahead and have your way. But we've just bought it the entirety that this blockchain's been a thing. And there are people that still think we're complete fucking idiots for it. I mean, just the other day we had a video about saying that we are still buying EHEX. Not that we're only buying EHEX, of course not. But when I DCA, I pretty much buy right now equal amounts of Pulse, PulseX, and Hex. And then I've been splitting Hex 50-50 lately. So you know,
Yes.
and there are people that think you are idiotic for doing that. Even Richard himself said this and said that and all these things. Whatever. I've heard it all. I just do not care anymore. It's not going to die. You don't want it to die. It's not going to go away. Will it
Can't.
perform as much as these other things? I don't know about that. And that's just it. We don't know. But you're right. It is down against Hex, which is encouraging for wanting to still buy it. So we've never been, oh, I'm just buying Pulse. Oh, I'm just buying Pulse X because it's inflationary. Oh, I'm just buying Hex because all I care about is T-shares. We just buy it all and whatever. I mean, that way you can sleep at night. You know what I mean?
Yep, completely agree with you. Little bits of everything. Again, with what you just said, I wouldn't buy only EHEX. You want to definitely diversify a little bit into both EHEX, PHEX, Pulse Chain. You know, but I mean, again, it's your money. You do what you want with it. I just feel that when the market is right, when the time is right, EHEX is closer to the on and off ramps, the big ones. Yes, Coast is doing well. Oh, and I did want to bring that up too. So remind me at the end there when we're done. But EHEX is definitely closer to the on ramp, off ramp. When people Google it, EHEX is what they see. There are so many reasons why EHEX is still attractive, and we should be trying to support it rather than watch it die. You know, we don't want that to happen. Obviously, when again, people look it up and they look at the price of it and they say, oh, it's gone forever. It's done. And the other one over here is doing fantastic. That's not a good look on any of it. They may not buy anything if that's all they're seeing is that price. So yeah. I completely agree with, splitting it up at least and having some of both.
Yeah. Yep, I'm with you. What did you want to say about Coast, and then we can wrap it up because
I had gotten an email from them, and I wanted to kind of make sure that everybody knew if anybody's waiting for a Coast deposit, that there was some sort of glitch. I don't know if you use Coast, you know what I'm talking about. But when you deposit money through the Old Glory Pay, you put in a memo. That memo line is the designation of what account that it goes to. On their side, they had mentioned that was glitching out and they weren't able to see it. So that if anybody was waiting for a deposit to hit that hasn't already, they need to reach out to them to get it straightened out, because they were not able to see the memo portion of the transaction. Therefore, it's kind of just sitting in limbo. So I know it was like a week and a half ago. Again, we didn't stream last week, but for anybody that may be waiting for it that hadn't gotten their deposit, I'm sure they would have bitched by now. But I wanted to throw that out there at least, and remind people to double check your transactions and your deposits to make sure they have cleared.
I did get that email too, and I just deposited that way through Old Glory today, and all went off without a hitch, just like always. Yeah. So I hope they're okay now. It looks
like. I don't know how long it lasted, or it was probably very brief. Mm-hmm. But again, I appreciate what those guys are doing, and I just want to throw it out there that if anybody was waiting for a deposit, that's possibly what happened. So
yeah. Good stuff. All right. This has been a phenomenal episode. We appreciate all of you guys being here this evening. Good stuff from everybody. Active chat tonight. And yeah, I don't know anything about timeframes anymore. Throw it all out the window. We're on some new paradigm. I don't know what it is. I don't know when it's going to happen, but behaviorally and just seeing what's going on with macro and stuff right now. I mean, it's not even so much a matter of like, I have complete and utter faith that I am going to be right. We're pumping in 2026. Here's when it's going to happen by. What else am I going to do? And that right there, I think, is the definition of strong hands at this point. We have people that are strong hands mostly left. I don't know how much longer it can go until things start going up. But the people that are still holding are either complete and utter idiots and psychotic, or just strong hands, and we're all going to benefit greatly in the next year. I don't know, but that's where we're at. So any final thoughts from you, Ewok?
Yep. Just when you think it can't get worse, it can. But you're right. We do have a lot of strong hands, I believe, left. And I think some of those people that are just waiting for a 1 or 2x will be gone quickly. Once this really does start to happen, they'll be out of the way, which will clear even more room to go higher. So,
yeah.
But again, just when you think it can't get worse, it can, and probably will. But yeah, hang in there.
Yeah. What did Winston Churchill say? When you're going through hell, keep going. That's what we intend to do. So appreciate all of you guys being here tonight. We do this every Wednesday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So shout out to everyone in the chat. Hex Girl, Armando, Viper Styles, Valiant Low Key, NJ Dub, Checks My Pulse, Frank White, Wall to Wall. Thank you too. Johnny Chaos, Tam was here earlier. Crypto League, aka Philly, Yellowtail. All right. DJ Moo Boy, if I didn't already say you, and a whole bunch of others. I'm sure I missed some people, but thank you all for being here. Again, we do this every Wednesday. We'll be back next week at same time, same channel. Have a lot more to talk about then. So thank you all so much for Crypto Ewok. This has been Broke Boy Crypto right here on the Creed of Crypto. See you guys.
See ya.